Previously on uhyeah. Enchanted Portals is supposed to get some kind of free DLC later this year. Wow, can you believe it? You might get 2 Cuphead videos in 1 year, neither of which are actually about Cuphead. And now for the thrilling conclusion, 1 video later. Hey everyone! So, I think I may have accidentally spawned the Enchanted Portals update into existence last video, because only a few weeks after it came out, with pretty much no warning, the free DLC actually dropped, which, I'm not gonna lie, I kinda just assumed was never gonna happen. So, what do I think of it? Listen, I think the existence of the update is better than nothing, but it also does nothing to address most of the issues with the game. The main meat of the update is 2 new boss fights that are sort of just awkwardly put into their own section on the main menu. One of these is really bland and has very shallow gameplay, and the other is pretty creative all things considered, but a little too easy. There's a few other things here like tweaks to the running gun level so that they're a little bit shorter, but still, is this the update that Enchanted Portals really needed? It just feels like the effort was put into the wrong places here. So yeah, I really was going to make a full video on this update originally, but I think it'd just be beating a dead horse at this point. Well, I guess that's it then. No second Cuphead ripoff video for this year. You can all go home now, just don't look at the remaining runtime on the way out. Alright, so clearly this video isn't actually about Enchanted Portals. So what are we doing here? Well, when all hope seemed lost for the second Cuphead video, an angel came down from the heavens and gave us this, and I do not say this lightly, generational tweet. My game is good, the algorithm just ignores me. Chills, bro. Chills. Okay, but in all seriousness, this tweet went pretty damn viral a few weeks back, and it's probably the most attention a Cuphead ripoff has seen since, well, probably Enchanted Portals. And that was all the way back in 2023. While this tweet is very funny on its own, there's actually a lot more going on here than you may think at first glance. In fact, there's an entire rabbit hole linked to this game and its developer. And, hey, you, I know what you were thinking just now. Do not go and harass the developer because of my video. I do not support that shit. And even if they've done some scummy stuff that does absolutely deserve to be called out, that doesn't mean you should then make it your mission to harass them. Got it? Okay, as I was saying, there's some crazy shit we're gonna talk about today. So, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, strap in. This is a video about plagiarism, allegations, some of the worst video games ever uploaded to Steam, fucking pinball for some reason, and the biggest controversy the Cuphead ripoff space has seen in years. This is Toon Souls. Also, don't forget to subscribe, because I know you aren't Daniel, or Kyle, or whatever your name is. Okay, so you're probably wondering, what the hell even is Toon Souls anyway? Let's take it back to early 2024, specifically around the time I released my video about Rubber Hose Rampage. Prior to this, I had only made 1 other Cuphead related video, so with the release of this new one, it created a standard that I might continue to cover more ripoffs in the future. This little factoid caught the attention of a certain up-and-coming developer in the Cuphead ripoff scene, that being the Toon Souls guy. I have no idea what else to call him, so we're gonna go with that. The Toon Souls guy, seeing my coverage of Rubber Hose Rampage, decided to @ me on Twitter like 4 or 5 different times with the same exact trailer for his game, Toon Souls. Zero exaggeration here, by the way. If you go to his account and search tweets of his that include my Twitter @, the entire list of tweets is just this trailer and a bunch of hearts replying to random tweets that were replying to me. Eventually, I took notice of this and decided to play along a little bit. So I quote retweeted one of his trailer posts and left it at that. I guess I should actually talk about this trailer for a little bit, since it is kind of what started this whole thing. I don't have much to say about it. I mean, it's literally just footage of a Cuphead clone that focuses on the worst parts of Cuphead, the running gun stages. So basically just enchanted portals, but probably worse. Cool. Shout out to the part of the trailer where there's a big ass dragon along with a bunch of copy-paste smaller versions of the same fucking dragon.
That's a little version of me, Alan.
Anyway, after I acknowledged Toon Souls, I pretty much completely forgot about it up until the recent viral tweet brought it to the mainstream. However, something kind of interesting happened in between my tweet and the viral tweet. And this is where the controversy starts to unfold. Some of you watching at home may find the entire idea of Toon Souls to be a little familiar. And I'm not just talking about how it's like kind of a Dark Souls parody. And I mean, we're using that very lightly here. I don't think Dark Souls has a green dragon with cartoonish lipstick and small evil clones. No. You may think this whole thing feels familiar because the idea isn't exactly original. On November 24th, 2017, only a few months after the release of Cuphead, the YouTube channel 64bits uploaded an animation parody simply titled Cup Souls, which is actually a parody of Dark Souls in the style of Cuphead. And it's really charming. The animation is done in a way that makes it look like real gameplay, but it's actually just a very impressive mock-up. The description even says, before you ask, no, this is not actual gameplay. It never will be a game, but one can dream, right? So at this point, you can probably see where I'm going with this, but hold on now, let's not throw around any crazy accusations here. It's not like Toon Souls literally plagiarized a scene from the Cup Souls animation, beat for beat, bar for bar, right? Right? And you know what, to be fair, pretty much everything else in Toon Souls that we have seen is not taken from the Cup Souls video. But this one single section being the exact same is enough evidence to prove what's really going on here. The Toon Souls guy wanted to make a Cuphead ripoff, saw this banger concept animation with 7 million views, and just decided to steal it instead of coming up with an original idea. It's really that simple. Now, you'd think that's where this story ends in regards to 64bits and their animation, but in between my tweet and the viral one, they actually found out about this project and made a couple tweets about it. On May 9th, 2024, the Toon Souls guy posted a clip of the stolen skeleton ball segment that I just showed you, which is something he does very often actually. I think like 90% of this account is just posting the same clips over and over. Anyway, someone who saw this tweet immediately recognized it as being based on the Cup Souls animation, and replied to the clip with a very lighthearted tweet asking 64bits to work on the animation for the game. Which, like, yeah, it would be cool if the people who actually made the original animation got any sort of chance to work on this. That would just be a win for everybody, right? The Toon Souls guy then responded to this tweet, basically just shilling his game. But a little bit later, 64bits themselves responded to this tweet. What did they say, you may be wondering? Oh, nothing. Just that the dev fucking already blocked them. Okay, let me get this straight. Not only did this guy take the entire concept for this game from 64bits, down to an individual section being identical, but they also went out of their way to block 64bits when they rightfully called them out on it. You seriously can't make this shit up. I don't even know what to say anymore. And the cherry on top of all of this is that the other guy in this thread that brought this to 64bits attention also got blocked in the middle of everything, because of fucking course he did. Like, what are we doing? So yeah, that's pretty much the bulk of the plagiarism controversy. Just a whole mess. But don't think we're done just yet. We still have to talk about the tweet. On Halloween of this year, the legendary "My game is good, the algorithm just ignores me" tweet was posted, and proceeded to rack up almost 50 million views. It's probably over 50 million views right now. I haven't checked in like 2 days. It's probably a fucking lot though. I think there's a few factors as to why this specific tweet blew up the way it did. Obviously, the caption in contrast with the gameplay clip is very funny, but the overall quality of Toon Souls looking a little rough, mixed with the Cuphead influence that 99% of people are going to see and immediately write off as just being bootleg, really was the perfect storm. My favorite part of this clip is when the player takes completely unavoidable damage, you know, the sign of a truly high Oh my god. You know, the sign of a truly high quality product. What really elevated this whole thing to a whole other level though, were the Toon Souls guy's responses to the replies on his tweet. Regardless if it's some random guy shitting on the game, or someone giving honest words of encouragement, he almost always replies with the same set of hearts, just like he did all the way back to the people on my replies last year. Some things truly never change, huh? Because of this tweet blowing up as much as it did, it actually spawned some of its own new controversies that have origins predating the viral post. So we might as well go over those as well. First up, we have the AI allegations. This was definitely the bigger of the two, since in almost every reply section of someone trying to defend Toon Souls, there will almost always be someone bringing up the fact that the dev used AI. For starters, a lot of people seem to think that the tweets the Toon Soul guy is posting are AI generated, since they're all very repetitive in nature, but I really don't think that's the case. I genuinely think this guy has nothing better to do all day than respond to people on Twitter, and he's responding to the same types of posts over and over, so everything ends up looking a little samey. I think it's really just that simple. However, these allegations get a little more real when we take a swing over to the Toon Souls YouTube community tab. Here, there are multiple posts clearly showing that the Toon Souls guy has 100% been using AI. And that's just the stuff that's easy to find. There are also examples of him using an AI background from over a year ago in this video, showing off some kind of home area in the game. And then in another video, this room shows up again, completely regenerated for some reason, except this time it has random skulls he actually drew just thrown around the area. And for some reason, if you still need more proof, the fairly reliable AI image detector, Was It AI, seems to agree very strongly that a lot of this stuff is AI. Not that these sites are totally accurate or anything, but in my experience, they definitely hit more than they miss. Like something he obviously drew passed with flying colors. Oh, and there's also shit like this on his Twitter just sitting out in the open, specifically about Toon Souls. So yeah, this kinda sucks. As AI improves and the line between human-made content and AI-made content starts to blur more and more, it's super important to support real artists, including those working in the games industry, where I'm sure AI bullshit is being pushed even harder. So to see an indie dev stoop this low is just embarrassing. So pretty easily, we can confirm that the Toon Souls AI allegations are absolutely, without a doubt, 100% correct. Now we have to talk about a more sensitive topic. The sympathy baiting allegations. This all stems from a lot of what the Toon Soul guy posts on his Twitter, which to boil it down, is basically him saying repeatedly that his mother passed away, he's very poor, and that her final wish was for him to finish Toon Souls. Not only is this still happening now, this was also happening around a month after he initially tweeted at me. I actually almost made a video about this specific situation on my second channel back when I was more active there, because a lot of people at the time just assumed he was lying for sympathy. I ended up not doing it because, like, how would you even talk about this? There's no real proof this guy's mom is dead or not, so you rightfully look like a complete asshole trying to say otherwise. So, in good faith to the Toon Souls guy, I am going to talk about this situation as if his mom did pass away. With that said, he will quite literally not stop posting about this to gain sympathy from people giving him criticism. If you go on his account and look up mother, there are so many tweets it's kind of ridiculous. And on top of that, he's actively using her death as a way to promote the game as well, with countless tweets like, "The game's story will be about life and death. My mother passed away, and it will be a reflection on life and death. Wishlist on Steam to get notified at release." Losing someone that close to you is probably the worst thing in the world. I don't know what I'll do when my own mom passes away. However, I can guarantee you that I won't be bringing it up every single chance I get to farm constant sympathy and to put any potential people giving me criticism in an awkward spot. Like, come on, man. Hopefully I cover that alright. Like I said, it's a hard topic to bring up, but it's also pretty much impossible to ignore given how relevant it is to this whole thing. Anyway, we're pretty much done talking about the Toon Souls Twitter controversy now. But going through all this stuff got me curious. What other games has the Toon Souls guy made? I mean, he constantly shills these other two games on his Twitter that use the exact same assets as Toon Souls, including the fuck-ass lipstick dragon. So I might as well check those out, right? I mean, they're both only like a few dollars each. What's the worst that could happen? First up, we have Pinball Toon, so let's boot it up and see what it's all about. Are we fucking dead at? Oh, okay. Okay, this is what we're dealing with. Got it. Alright, cool. After turning that down significantly, I got into the actual game and, yep, this sure is pinball. I mean, this isn't actually that bad or anything from a basic control standpoint, and the physics feel mostly fine, so that's good. But it's a little too punishing for being the first level of this. You have to use the ball to take out the Toon Soul's enemies scattered around the board, but you can only mess up 3 times, and the amount of enemies you have to kill is not only super high, but it also changes each time you start a new run for some reason. I don't really know, but hey, this could definitely be worse. One really weird thing about this game, however, is that it lets you choose between these 2 different bug characters before you start the game, but as far as I can tell, it literally affects nothing. The only place I found that actually shows your character is the death screen, but it only ever shows the male one, even if you're playing as the female character. Strange. Very strange. But yeah, that's pretty much all this is. I'm sure if I was more of a pinball buff, this would be more offensive, but I'm not, so, you know, maybe I should be. Pinball machines are pretty fucking cool, I can't lie. No time to get into that though. We have to move on to the next game, Toon. Oh wow, yeah, we're really doing this again, huh? Not only are we doing this again, aka the menus and the UI are the exact same as Pinball Toon, down to the useless character select screen that affects nothing still being here, but this time it's like significantly worse somehow? This is one of those evil games that hides your mouse and locks it in the window. So I genuinely had no idea what I was doing and couldn't even progress into the actual game until I hooked up a controller and forced my way in like that. Why does it lock the fucking mouse? Alright, let's try controller. It's literally an FPS game though. This is especially embarrassing considering this game is a Doom clone, and you'd probably want to play that with a mouse and keyboard for obvious reasons. But fine. Controller it is. The actual gameplay objective here is actually structured pretty much the exact same way as Pinball Toon. There's a random amount of enemies to kill, and you have a limited amount of health and bullets to do it with. Movement-wise, it feels fine, but everything starts to fall apart when you realize this is an FPS game without a fucking crosshair. So not only are you dying in one hit from everything, it's also a pain in the ass to even land a simple shot on any of these guys. Also, I just want to add, because I wasn't actually sure of this while I was writing the script, because I'm not much of an FPS person, but Doom also doesn't have a crosshair, but that game keeps the gun centered, so you always know your shots are going to be going down the center at all times, while in Toon, your gun is like off to the side and on a weird angle on the drawing, so you have no fucking idea where your shots are going. You can like guess, but it's not consistent enough for a full game to like not have a crosshair. Like this needs a crosshair, the original Doom probably doesn't. Eventually I got lucky and found a really powerful machine gun that let me beat the first level, but upon reaching the upgrade screen to continue forward, the broken ass UI wouldn't let me select anything with the keyboard, controller, or mouse. Why can't I shoot bullets on the screen? What? Why am I... What the fuck? So I was pretty much forced to give up there. Another okay game that I probably could have gotten further in, but I guess it just wasn't meant to be. Also, before we move on here, I would like to bring your attention to the hilarious JPEG skybox this game has. Why is the background a fucking P? Why is the background? What is happening? Alright, so those games were okay. Nothing special, kinda broken. No, okay. Very broken in the case of the FPS one, but overall, they were super cheap and kinda harmless. I still have more questions than answers here though. Like, who the fuck were those useless bug characters? Also, neither of those games really gave me a good idea of if the Toon Souls guy would even be able to make a good Cuphead clone. So, can he even do that? Well, I decided to dig a little bit deeper to try and see if the Toon Souls guy had ever made any games similar to Cuphead. And while the only games he's ever made under the Toon Crafter alias on Steam are the ones I just talked about, I decided to check out the games made by his publisher, simply known as Indie Games Publisher. That's not suspicious. No, not at all. Anyway, let's take a look here and see. Oh my, okay, okay. Alright, so this is an entirely different can of worms from everything else we've talked about thus far. If it wasn't obvious, indie games publisher is just the Toon Souls guy. And for some reason, he's split his games among a bunch of different aliases on Steam. But they're all still under the same publisher, so I'm not really sure what the point of that was. Immediately, you will also notice that the rest of these games outside of the two I already talked about are not cheap at all. In fact, these games actually cost more than Cuphead. I am dead fucking ass. For the sake of my wallet, I'm only going to be buying and trying out 4 of these games. Those being the 4 different animatics games, because they clearly feature those weird bug characters. So maybe I'll finally get some goddamn answers. As for the 5 different Biscuits games the Toon Souls guy has made, that's okay, you can keep them. The 5th game in that set is also $10 more expensive than all the other games, so yeah, I'm good, boss. Alright, let's just get this over with. Starting with the first game, Animatics. Okay, there we go. Some actual music this time. Maybe this won't be so bad. Heading over to the main menu and, wait. This is the same goddamn main menu from the last 2 games. Down to the character select screen. Except this time, it actually fucking works! So, let me get this straight. The Toon Souls guy made this menu for Animatics and decided to just copy-paste it over for his Toon games without removing the character select, even though it does nothing in said games. Bravo, absolute cinema, no notes. Take me home, I'm done here. Alright, whatever, let's get into the actual gameplay. Okay, so we've lost music privileges now, got it. Well, as you can see, Animatics is an actual Cuphead clone. Finally, we're on topic again. The controls are not very good, like, at all, and the default bullets are like these weird, sad bullets that just flop down when you fire them. But I mean, maybe the bosses can still be good? This first one is a centaur dude that literally just stands there and does nothing while a bunch of wheels try and kill you. The way the wheels roll out is completely random, and sometimes you end up in situations that you are quite literally forced to die in. I was genuinely kind of baffled by this, so I decided to exit out of the boss to check the controls and see if there was a dash or double jump or something I was missing. But nope, the game is really just set up like this. Alright, well I can probably just get lucky with the wheels and beat this guy. I mean, he's the first boss. It can't be that hard. Let's just hop back in and... Why is the level different? What the fuck? What the fuck is this? Okay, so now the game is a vertical auto-scroller where you need to kill a bunch of bugs while climbing up floating leaves. Hey, that's great, man. Just one question. Where the hell did the boss fight go? I'm being so serious when I say I could not get that centaur boss to appear again. Every time I reset the game and tried again, it would only give me this shitty climbing level and a variant of it with wood instead of leaves. I couldn't even get past this part either, because for some reason turning left and right in this game is like playing a round of slots where you have to hit the 777 jackpot in order for the game to actually be like, oh shit, you want to turn around and not just moonwalk. So yeah, that's Animatics. There's definitely more content here, but I guess the game just doesn't want me to see it. And you know what? That's fine by me. More expensive than Cuphead, by the way, just wanted to remind you. Well, that sucked. At least we still have 3 more of these games to check out though. Maybe the Toon Souls guy got better at making Cuphead style games the further into this series he got. Only one way to find out. Let's dive into Animatics 2. What do you even want me to say? No, seriously, like, what are we even doing here? Alright, so Animatics 2 is not another Cuphead clone, and is instead a genuinely terrible beat-em-up game for some reason. I don't really get the point of numbered sequels if the gameplay is going to be completely different, but whatever, man, you do you, I guess. This game has full online multiplayer for some reason, which is very funny considering absolutely nobody is playing this shit. I didn't even try the multiplayer for this video. Do you really think I could convince anyone to buy this? Be real. Thankfully, I guess, you can enter the game even without a full party. So I was still able to try it out, and Yep, this is sure a bad beat-em-up. TMNT Shredder's Revenge has nothing on this absolute masterclass of game design, featuring 2 whole attacks for the playable character. More expensive than Cuphead, by the way. I couldn't even be bothered to play more than like 5 minutes of this, I'm gonna be real. I don't really know what I was expecting here, but it was definitely not this. But don't worry guys, this game specifically is in early access apparently, so that makes everything acceptable. Anyway, we still have 2 more of these games to look at, so maybe the 3rd one can save us. What the fuck? Never mind. I don't even want to talk about this one. We are so far removed from the animatic series being about Cuphead at this point that I don't even think I can predict what the hell this last game is going to be. Let's just get this over with. Okay, so now we've lost the plot completely. We've gone from a Cuphead clone to a beat-em-up to whatever the fuck the 3rd game was, to now a straight-up rip-off of Getting Over It. Considering Getting Over It is even cheaper than Cuphead, that means the price difference between these games is even more insane. Which, you know, that's just great. I had actually never played Getting Over It before making this video, but I wanted to be as fair as possible to Animatics 4, for some reason. So I went out and bought Getting Over It, so I could accurately compare the 2 games. In Getting Over It, I was pretty easily able to climb over the first obstacle with only a little bit of effort, even with the purposely weird controls. In Animatics 4, I struggled to do anything, got stuck in a corner, had to reset the game to get out of the corner, tried again, and still couldn't get past the first obstacle. So, what a surprise, it's just a significantly worse version of Getting Over It. Who could have seen that coming? Well, that was the last game I bought, so we're done here. Thank God. I really spent like 90 Canadian dollars on all these terrible games, huh? Well, it could have been worse. I could have also bought Biscuits 5, but I didn't, so... Alright, that's it for me today. Hopefully this video is good and the algorithm doesn't ignore me, but I don't know. I might have to say it 4 times just to be sure. Tune in next time when I permanently delete Animatics 3 from my Steam account. I've been uhyeah, and I'll see you all next time.